So we are here on the final day of tournament play, this final day taking place a full 2 days later than originally scheduled. We expected to get this tournament completed by the 26th, but a couple of days of rain this week, as we have experienced all season long, Mother Nature not making this Legion season very easy. And so things delayed here to Friday. All of these teams involved in the final day of the tournament had a chance to rest up last night to get ready for what should be two superb days of baseball, two superb games of baseball, I should say, here on this final day of the tournament. Milford right now getting set for this early game, this 4:30 start time, and their opponent in this game is a familiar one in Shrewsbury Post 397. Milford's Zone 4 nemesis here on the final day of tournament play as well. And for both of these teams, the story has been resilience and perseverance through this tournament. Both teams suffered surprising losses on the first day of the tournament. For Shrewsbury, it was a 6-5 loss to Braintree, who of course is the third team involved in this championship day. But since that loss, Shrewsbury's been able to coast their way through the remainder of the tournament. A 7-3 victory, eliminating Barnstable from the tournament on day 2. Then it was a 2-0 tight ball game that Shrewsbury was able to win over Newton on day 3. Then Shrewsbury with a mercy rule victory over Ashland on day 4, eliminating Ashland from the tournament after they started off 2-0. And so now Shrewsbury stands here today on the final day of the tournament. And of course, they face off against a Milford team that also had to face that similar road, bouncing back off of that 11-8 loss on opening night against Newton, with victories over Somerset, Northampton, and most recently a 5-1 victory in their last game over Braintree Post 86. Braintree entering day 4 as the lone unbeaten team, which guaranteed them a spot in the state championship game, but an opportunity to come into this day undefeated, forcing their opponent to beat them twice. But Milford was able to knock Braintree from the unbeaten ranks with that 5-1 win on Wednesday. A clutch performance on the pitcher's mound from Zach Sasitsky. We cannot say enough about that pitching performance turned in by Zach Sasitsky, and you'll hear more on that performance from Coach DeVito in our Coach's Corner in just a little bit. But offensive contributions in that game on Wednesday, as well as Tyler Monahan chipped in 3 hits, a key RBI from Kyle Nocera, and 2 runs driven in a late inning bases loaded opportunity for Jake LeBlanc. That ended up being the story of the night, and that earned Milford a trip here onto the final day, where they will square off against a Zone 4 rival. So certainly a lot of Zone 4 pride here on Pheno Field this afternoon. A lot of the fans from both of these teams represented, and a lot of the coaches, I'm sure, from the rest of the District 4 teams will also be in attendance to support this great rivalry matchup coming up here this afternoon. So it is Milford Post 59 taking on Shrewsbury Post 397, where Shrewsbury will serve as the home team, which makes Milford the visitors here for game number 1 of this championship day. So we have more to come as it is time for baseball here at Pheno Field on this final day of the state tournament. It has been a tremendous week here at Pheno Field, and a lot of hard work put in by this staff here for Milford Post 59, hosting a top-notch tournament here at Pheno. But now the most important games of the tournament about to be played out. Milford and Shrewsbury set to go as Shrewsbury now takes the field, led by their starting pitcher, Kevin Hummer. And we talked about it, Hummer pitching a very impressive game against Milford back on June 19th of this past regular season. Hummer going 6 2/3 innings. He ultimately allowed 7 hits and 4 runs, 2 of them earned. He struck out 7 and walked 1, but again, he was pitching shutout baseball until the 7th inning, where Milford was able to plate 4 late runs, a dramatic comeback that ultimately fell just short. So Hummer has seen this Milford offense before. Michael Farrell, who will oppose Hummer on the mound for Milford, has also faced Shrewsbury in this regular season. As a matter of fact, it was this exact pitching matchup the last time these two teams met one another. So this has the feel of a rematch. You heard Coach DeVito talk about it earlier in our Coach's Corner. It feels like a rematch of that earlier regular season game, and very happy to have it for you here on My FM. And as we officially close out our Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show, it is time now for our Game Time Temperature, brought to you by Bellingham Electric. For your next appliance purchase, it's Bellingham Electric sales and service on Pulaski Boulevard in Bellingham. And wouldn't you know it, summer has returned here to Milford. It is 82 degrees at game time, sunny skies overhead, a light cloud cover. Certainly much better weather conditions than what these teams would have played through if they tried to get the games in yesterday. So good conditions here, comfortable for the fans, and time to get underway as the first pitch of the game from Kevin Hummer is a called strike 1 to Joe Sanchioni. On the bottom outside corner, a good live fastball from the right-hander, and now ready to deliver another, and that one misses low. The count evens at 1-1. Joe Sanchioni, Sean Rebello, and Aiden Wild will lead off this top half of the first inning. Now the 1-1 pitch is a tapper sent foul down the first base line. This is the third time in the tournament that Milford has served as the visitors. They are 2-0 when serving in this capacity in the tournament. Games won against Somerset and Northampton. They served as the home team in the loss to Newton and the victory back on Wednesday against Braintree. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Now that's on the outside corner for a called strike 3, and an impressive sequence from Kevin Hummer to open the game. He gets his first strikeout as Sanchioni goes down. Defensively for Shrewsbury, it is Nick Martin behind the plate, Thomas Q at third, David Turco at short, Casey Boudreau at second, and Dylan Zona at first. Left to right in the outfield, Christian Jordan, Adam Twitchell, and Pat Galvin. As the first pitch into Sean Rebello bounces, gets away from the catcher. One out and the base is empty in the top of the first. The next pitch from Hummer is slapped towards the opposite field, down for a base hit, just beyond the reach of the leaping first baseman Dylan Zona. And Sean Rebello has a one-out base hit. And that will bring Aiden Wild to the plate. Wild has had RBI opportunities in the first inning in each of Milford's last 3 games, and he has come through, giving Milford early leads in each contest. Yesterday, an RBI single or Wednesday, I should say, an RBI single to give Milford a lead. Here he rips one back up the middle, goes right past the pitcher and up through into center field for a base hit. Back-to-back hits now for post 59. Wild not driving in a run this time, but he gets aboard at first, pushes Sean Rebello into scoring position. So 2 on with 1 out now for Tyler Monahan. Right-handed batter facing the right-handed starter Kevin Hummer, who deals a pitch outside. Now a throw down to first base from the catcher is late, and a high throw from Nick Martin. Unfortunately for Shrewsbury, it was pulled down by Dylan Zona over at first base. And Monahan now jumps ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes so far in the playoffs for Monahan. Zone playoffs and state tournament combined 12 for 32. Good for a .375 batting average. Here's the 2-0 pitch and a swing and a miss. Monahan with 6 runs batted in the playoffs, 10 runs scored. He has 6 doubles. He has been productive. About to see a 2-1 pitch from Kevin Hummer. Instead, Hummer spins off the back of the pitcher's rubber and looks Sean Rebello back to second base. Light breeze right now blowing out towards left as the pitch comes in tight on Tyler Monahan, bringing the count to 3 balls and a strike. Monahan up now, Alex Reynolds in the on-deck circle. 2 on with 1 out for Milford. Here is the 3-1 pitch, and it's a bouncer right back up the middle. Hummer will sling it to second base, but it gets away from Twitchell. Now here comes Rebello around to the plate. The slide, and he is safe. And a costly mistake to open up the ball game for Shrewsbury. They had a tailor-made double play ball. Hummer's throw to second base was accurate, but the shortstop covering the bag just could not make the catch. The ball rolled out into center, and Rebello came around to score just barely as the throw came in quickly. It was there in time, but Rebello was able to slide around the tag of Nick Martin, so a run scores quickly for post 59. And a gift there on the error at the second base bag. Post 59 for the 4th straight game now in the tournament scores a first inning run. Looking to do more damage as Alex Reynolds will look at a first pitch strike. So that will go as a fielder's choice for Monahan. And an error. They might end up giving it on the throw, although the throw was there pretty accurately from the pitcher. A no ball 2 strike count now on the catcher, Alex Reynolds, who right now is batting .429 for these 2017 playoffs. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's on the outside edge for a called strike 3. The second strikeout of the inning for Hummer. Is able to battle back after the error. The inning not over quite yet. 2 on now with 2 outs for Kyle Nocera. And Nocera fouls the first pitch he sees away, glancing off the plate and ticking off towards the first base dugout. It is Aiden Wild now who is the lead runner at second base with Monahan at first. And a no ball, 1 strike count on the right-handed swinging Kyle Nocera. Milford once more in their retro-style blue uniform tops with gold lettering. 4th day in a row they featured this look on the Shrewsbury side, wearing navy uniform tops with white accents. A 1 ball, 1 strike count now. The pitch from Hummer, that is a little bit low. Nocera in the ball game on Wednesday against Braintree ended up going 1 for 3. That 1 hit was good to drive in a run. Now a throw down to second base from Hummer, and that again almost ended up in the outfield. The shortstop Turco able to come over and leap for that one. Now the next pitch to Nocera. He's able to hold up on the swing as the pitch darts down and in. And the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. Nocera ready. Kevin Hummer on the mound ready. Here's the next pitch, and a half swing from Nocera. Sends it off the end of the bat, foul over towards the first base dugout. So now a 3-2 count. The runners will have a chance to get started. Wild walking out to a lead at second base. Monahan right now maintaining contact with that first base bag. Now he starts out to a lead. They go as the pitch is grounded to shortstop. A high hop for Turco. Now the throw to second base. It's not there in time. Turco was a little bit sluggish getting that throw to second base, and also it might have been a little bit of a late break from Casey Boudreau to cover the second base bag. And they did not get the throw to second base in time. Everyone's safe, and now the bases are loaded for Zach Sisitsky. Another fielder's choice play in the inning. And Sisitsky now swings at the first pitch, slaps it out to left field. That drops down for a base hit. Aiden Wild will score. They have to hold Tyler Monahan at third. That ball was not hit deep in left field. But everyone moves up a base as Christian Jordan got that throw back in a hurry. An RBI single for Sisitsky as he swings at the first pitch. And Milford now able to take a 2-0 first inning lead. The base is reloaded now for Jake LeBlanc. And LeBlanc takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. So after it took Milford 6+ innings to finally score against Hummer when they saw him last, wasting no time here today. And now a called strike evens the count at 1-1 to Jake LeBlanc. We did hear from Coach Vaccaro prior to the game that Matt Stansky is available out of the bullpen. And they are going to call a balk on Kevin Hummer, and that was certainly the right call. You saw Kevin Hummer go up with the leg kick, then come back down, then bring the leg up a second time. And so they call the balk. Kevin Hummer right now is very upset. He went right over to one of the infield umpires, pleading his case. The Shrewsbury fans are upset as well, as now Coach Vaccaro is out talking to the infield umpire. So as it stands right now, a 3rd run crossing the plate as a result of the balk call. And Kevin Hummer right now just pacing back and forth in front and behind the pitcher's mound. Coach Vaccaro doing double duty right now, trying to continue the conversation with the umpire while he also trying to keep his starting pitcher calm, trying to keep his infield calm. This is a Shrewsbury team, as we know, that plays with a lot of emotion. It served them very well through the regular season. They set a team record for wins in the regular season, going 21-3. A lot of Shrewsbury fans here in attendance. They are also very upset with the call from the umpire, but it will stand. So Tyler Monahan awarded home plate. Milford now up 3-0. And Jake LeBlanc now will take a called strike 2 as play finally resumes. And the next one, half swing from Jake LeBlanc. He goes around, says the home plate umpire, and that will go as a third strikeout in the inning. In the end, Kevin Hummer strikes out the side, but in between, Milford is able to score 3 times, once on an error, once on an RBI single, and then once on a controversial balk call. And at the close of a half an inning of play, Milford holds a 3-0 lead on Shrewsbury. An eventful game already, and we're only a half inning in, so much more to come next here on My FM 101.3. A lot of emotion, a lot of intensity already displayed on the field. Milford supplying 3 runs in the top of the first inning against Shrewsbury, putting the defending champs on the ropes here early on. And now it will be post 397 who take their first swings against Michael Farrell. And first pitch swinging, Adam Twitchell lines one out towards left center field, but on the move, Sean Rebello is able to make the catch. Hard contact from Twitchell, but it's a 1-pitch out. Twitchell followed by David Turco and Nick Martin in the inning. As now the right-handed batting David Turco stands in. And the pitch from Farrell misses high for ball 1. So far in the playoffs for Michael Farrell, he is 0-1. He's thrown 13 2/3 innings. He's allowed a total of 15 hits, 11 runs, but just 3 of those runs have been earned as he deals in a strike to even the count on Turco. And so far in these playoffs, 4 walks to 27 Ks for Michael Farrell. Here's his 1-1 pitch, and that's in for a called strike 2. And this is certainly one of the positive developments related to the rainouts that we experienced this week here in the tournament. Michael Farrell throwing over 100 pitches in his first start against Newton. He would not have been eligible to return at any point over the remainder of the tournament had we not experienced those rain days. As this ball is poked out towards third base, the play by Monahan and a good accurate throw to first base. Turco just sticking his bat out on that ball. He was out in front, was able to keep the hands back to make contact, but it ends up as a ground out to third base, and 2 up and 2 down in the bottom half of the first. And now the number 3 hitter, Nick Martin, will stand in, another righty bat. Swings at the first pitch, grounds it deep in the hole at shortstop, smothered by Sanchione, gets to his feet, throws to first. Just too much speed for Nick Martin, as now he overruns the bag, but is able to slide back in. Martin taking the turn as he overran first base, so that required him to get back to the bag. He was able to do it, as Alex Reynolds did a good job backing up the throw. The throw did get away from Jake LeBlanc. But in the end, Martin will reach. That will go as an infield single, no error on the play. And another solid attempt from Joe Sanchione, but comes up just short. Keeps the inning alive for Jack Gardner, the DH. And he takes the first pitch in for a called strike 1. We've seen a lot of aggressive swinging early in the count for Shrewsbury. And you have to wonder if that shaky start to the game will get in the heads of these Shrewsbury players at all. A lot of early swings, maybe trying to get back into this game all at once. Still obviously a very long way to go in a 9-inning game. A lot can change. Shrewsbury was down early in their games against Braintree. And also, again, they were down early against Barnstable on day 2 before they came back for the win. So they've shown resiliency in this tournament. The runner takes off on the 0-2 pitch, which is sent foul off the bat of Gardner. Last time these two teams met up, Jack Gardner went 1 for 3. He scored a couple of runs, walked once. And another 0-2 pitch on the way as the runner again takes off. The pitch in for a called strike 3, and that will end the inning. So Farrell able to pitch around that 2-out infield single And that completes the first inning of play here from Pheno Field. Milford with a 3-0 lead over Shrewsbury Post 397 on this playoff coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. A 3-0 lead. And again, as we try to draw parallels between this game and the last time these two teams met, it was Shrewsbury, of course, serving as the visitors here at Pheno Field on that June 29th game. And Shrewsbury was able to plate 3 runs in a fast start in the top of the first inning. They scored 2 more in the third, taking a 5-0 lead into the 7th inning, and that 5-run lead was just enough to hold up for the victory. So today with Milford as the visitors, it was Post 59 able to grab 3 runs early, as now Tyler Almeida sends one slowly rolling down the first base line. It kicks into foul territory. And Tyler, the number 9 hitter, will stay alive with a no-ball, 2-strike count. Almeida up now and then back up to the top spot in the Milford order. All 3 outs for Kevin Hummer in the top of the first came on strikeouts. He has Almeida in an 0-2 count here. And the next pitch, that misses outside. And ready now with the 1-2 offering, and that time Almeida out in front. A swing and a miss for strike 3, and there already is strikeout number 4 for Hummer. Yes, the strikeout pitch working here early. All 4 of the first outs in this game recorded on strikeouts. Sanchioni now at the dish, and he starts off looking at ball 1. And now a waving swing and a miss, and the count evens. After an 0-for-1 start to this game, Joe Sanchioni now 13 for 34 in the playoffs, but now lines this ball out to left field, and that will land for a 1-out base hit. So there is playoff hit number 14 for Sanchioni. He is 2 for 3 in stolen bases, so good speed now at first for Post 59 now with Sean Ravello taking his second at bat. 1 for 1 already on the day, singled and scored a run last inning. And now immediately Hummer will check in over at first base. Sanchioni bounces right back out to a lead as the pitch to the plate misses outside and low for ball 1. A lot of fans taking in this game from right behind the backstop, seated on the bleachers behind home plate. Called strike issued in to Rubello to even the count. Set by Hummer. Sanchioni goes as the pitch is lined back up the middle, through for a base hit. Sanchioni will stop at second as Twitchell sends the throw back in on the infield. 2 more hits for Post 59, so it's been feast or famine so far for these Milford bats. Now 5 hits in the game and 4 strikeouts. They once again have 2 on with 1 out. And Aiden Wild at the plate, who roped a single back up the middle on the first pitch of his last at bat, now swings away at the first pitch here, but off balance, and he ends up going down 0-1. Aiden Wild now with 12 hits in the postseason. He also has 12 runs batted in. And a called strike 2 now as Hummer dots the outside part of the plate. Excellent velocity on Kevin Hummer, as we remember very well from the last time he pitched here at Pheno. Big lead for Sanchioni at second base. Here's the pitch, and that one a little bit high. Light breeze continuing to blow out towards the outfield. Could give a little bit of a boost to a ball sent high up in the air. And Aiden Wild sending this ball out to center field. That's going to get over Twitchell's head and roll deep out into straightaway center field. 2 runs will score for Milford as Wild flies around the bases. He will end up at third base. He slides there safely with a 2-run triple. And that opens up a 5-0 lead for Post 59. So right on cue, we see Aiden Wild drive one up into that breeze. It gets it over the head of Adam Twitchell. And 3 bases easy for the speed of Aiden Wild. He drives in 2 more runs in these playoffs. 14 playoff RBI now for Wild. And this will bring Coach Vaccaro out of the third base dugout. And it looks like action will start to get ready in a hurry over in the Shrewsbury bullpen. Coach Vaccaro will leave Hummer out there for the time being. Shrewsbury, of course, having to play for this win here today if they hope to get on to later on this afternoon. And with Kevin Hummer available in their bullpen, you have to wonder, or excuse me, if with Matt Stansky in their bullpen, you have to wonder if it might be Stansky getting loose right now as Hummer deals ball 1 into Tyler Monahan. And right now the Milford bench is all sorts of pumped up. A lot of chatter coming out of the first base dugout as Monahan sends a ball out to center field into the glove of Adam Twitchell. Now Aiden Wild tags at third base. The throw will come all the way to the plate, but not in time. Another run scores, and Milford is able to open up a 6-0 lead. Credit Monahan with a sacrifice fly. And you have to imagine this start is catching a lot of people by surprise here on the field this afternoon. Expecting to see a pitcher's duel, but Milford bringing the bats out early as now Alex Reynolds lines one just over the extended reach of David Turco at short. Another hit in this inning as Reynolds reaches on the single, and right back out of the dugout comes Coach Frank Vaccaro, and it's going to be an early exit in this game for Kevin Hummer, who right now stands with his hands on his hips right on the center of the pitcher's mound. Receiving a shocking greeting in this game from the Milford offense. And Coach Vaccaro taking the baseball as Hummer will last just an inning and a third in this game, strikes out 4, but allows 6 early runs to Milford Post 59. And so we will see the pitching change made here. We'll let you know the new arm on the mound for Post 397 when we come back next. 6-0, Milford leads it over Shrewsbury here on My FM 101.3. The new pitcher on for Shrewsbury Post 397 is the left-hander Pat Shaughnessy. He takes over for Kevin Hummer, who lasted just an inning and a third, allowed 6 runs, 5 earned on 7 hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. These Milford bats able to knock the Shrewsbury starter out of the game. And how many times during the regular season did we talk about the pitching prowess of Shrewsbury? They allowed right around 2.5 runs per game during the regular season. They've been strong again here in the playoffs. Kevin Hummer in particular, right front and center in the starting pitching performances for Shrewsbury through the regular season, but did not have it here against the Milford bats. Too tough so far as now Kyle Nocera grounds one slowly to second base. The out is recorded as, my apologies, I did say there was just 1 out prior to going into that commercial break, but of course 2 outs in the inning after the sacrifice fly from Monahan. So that out 4-3 by Kyle Nocera will bring an end to the inning. So Pat Shaughnessy able to come in and close the door on the rally, but not before Milford puts up another 3 spot on the scoreboard. Hits in the inning from Sanchioni, Rebello, Wild with the 2-run triple, and Alex Reynolds also pitching in a base hit, all part of this early 6-0 lead Milford enjoys over Shrewsbury on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on My FM 101.3. Well, Michael Farrell has to love looking up at the scoreboard as he comes out to the mound for the bottom half of the second inning. A 6-0 lead as he deals in his first pitch of this second frame. It's a called strike into the right fielder, Pat Galvin. He'll be followed by Casey Boudreau and Dylan Zona in the inning. Left-handed swinging Pat Galvin up there now. The 0-1 pitch is grounded to second base. Almeida waits for it, plays it and fires to first to get the out there. And you take a look back through the starts for Michael Farrell through these playoffs, all the way back in Milford's first playoff game of the Zone 4 playoffs against Wachusett. Milford scoring just 1 run in support of Michael Farrell. Farrell nearly making that lead hold up until the late innings when Wachusett was able to rally. And then Farrell getting the first start in this state tournament against Newton. And Milford was able to score a little bit better for Farrell in that game, but of course the defense let him down in the later innings, as Milford lost that game 11-8, but a 6-0 lead for Farrell here early as he jumps ahead of the batter Casey Boudreau by a count of 0-2. Farrell overall on the season, regular season and playoffs combined, has a record of 2-3, a 2.74 ERA. 38 1/3 innings pitched overall on the year. Opposing hitter is batting .236 against Farrell. And tries to paint the outside corner with that pitch, missed just outside, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 out and the base is empty in the top of the second. Strong, bright sunshine streaking down over Fino Field as this ball is lined past Tyler Almeida at second base. It's down for a hit. The second hit of the game for post 397, and quickly Casey Boudreau able to advance up to second base as it took the outfield a little while to get to that ball, and heads up base running by Boudreau. He's able to get into second base. And that's the kind of effort Coach Vaccaro has to love seeing out of his team, as they have been put on the ropes here early on, but there is still a very long way to go in this game, and we know Shrewsbury's offense is capable of mounting a comeback. So you cannot feel comfortable with this lead. You have to continue to play hard if you're post 59. A 1-out runner in scoring position now for the number 7 hitter, Dylan Zona. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Now Farrell from the stretch. As he hesitates, now fires to the plate and misses outside with a fastball. Zona, a right-handed hitter, playing first base today for Coach Vaccaro. Farrell now slowing down the pace with that man at second base. Here's his pitch, and that's in for a strike. Do not see the Braintree players anywhere taking in this game on the field, though you have to imagine some of their coaches might be interested spectators in this early game. As the pitch is in for a called strike 2. That one hitting the outside part of the plate. And from 2-0, the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dylan Zona. Farrell taking a deep breath on the pitcher's mound as Zona readies himself in the box. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it's waved at and missed for strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Michael Farrell. Able to get the second out of this second inning. And that sends us on to Thomas Q, the third baseman, batting out of the number 8 spot. And the right-handed batter takes the first pitch away for ball 1. Do not believe we saw Thomas Q in the lineup for either regular season matchup against Milford. Thomas Machella getting the start at third base in each of those games, but Q getting the nod here in the playoffs. As the count evens at a ball and a strike. A lead at second base for Casey Boudreau, who had the heads-up double with 1 out in the inning. Still at second base with 2 down. And the next pitch misses low. A good block from Alex Reynolds. That full defensive alignment for Milford. Alex Reynolds behind the plate. Tyler Monahan at third. Joe Sanchioni at short. Tyler Almeida at second. And Jake LeBlanc at first. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sisitsky, Sean Rebello, and Kyle Nocera. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's in for a strike. So Farrell now looking to strand that runner at second base. Q out of the box for a practice hack. Now he digs back in. Boudreau backing out to a lead at second base. And now timeout granted by the home plate umpire. An early 6-0 lead for Milford post 59. Farrell trying to keep that 0 in the column for Shrewsbury. As he comes to the set, here is the pitch, and it's wasted high. The count now full to Q, with Christian Jordan, the number 9 hitter, waiting on deck. And again, Farrell, a long look in to Alex Reynolds for the sign. Now he is ready. The payoff pitch is in for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Michael Farrell to end this second inning. And Shrewsbury strands a runner in scoring position. They've stranded 2 through the first 2 frames. And we're now done with 2 innings of play here at Pheno, where Milford leads Shrewsbury by a score of 6-0. You are listening to coverage of the 2017 Massachusetts Legion State Tournament here on MyFM 101.3. Happy to have all of you with us on this Friday afternoon on Championship Day here in the state tournament. Tuning in here on MyFM 101.3 and also Milford TV with coverage here of the state tournament. Zach Sisitsky, meanwhile, taking a called strike 1 from Pat Shaughnessy to open up the top of the third. And now a quick no-ball 2-strike count as Shaughnessy was able to come on to induce the ground out from Kyle Nocera to end the second inning after Milford knocked the starter, Kevin Hummer, out of the game after just an inning and a third. The count now 1-2 to Zach Sisitsky, who drove in a run in the first with a single to left. Shaughnessy back into the windup. The 1-2 pitch misses high. Sisitsky having one heck of a playoff run, pitching and hitting, and now sticks the bat out, sends this ball foul. It sneaks over the third base dugout and out of play. And Shaughnessy wasting no time on the pitcher's mound. He is already back into the set, waiting for Sisitsky. And now here's the pitch, and misses low for ball 3. Shaughnessy immediately receiving that return throw and setting for the next pitch. He's now ready with the 3-2, and it's swung on and missed. So ultimately, Shaughnessy able to win the battle, and there is the 5th strikeout for Shrewsbury pitching. 4 of them from Hummer, so a head-scratching performance for Kevin Hummer, who had good velocity. Was raking in the strikeouts early, but Milford also getting their share of hits, as now LeBlanc sends one rolling to shortstop. It's mishandled by David Turco, and Jake LeBlanc will reach. Turco coming in on that ball, playing it right at the lip of the grass on the infield, and let it roll right up his glove and off of his wrist area, and it ends up going as the 2nd Shrewsbury error of the game. 1 on and 1 out for Tyler Almeida. He takes the first pitch away for ball 1. Almeida striking out swinging to open up the second inning before Milford collected 3 straight hits. And now 2-0 the count. Shaughnessy staring down that runner as the lefty now goes into his windup and gets a swing and a miss from Almeida. Tyler now in the playoffs, 8 for 26. Batting over 300, has an RBI and 3 runs scored. And I know everyone here at Fino Field would love to see Tyler Almeida come to Milford High School for this upcoming school year as he swings and misses. Count goes to 2-2. As of now, Almeida, a student at BVT, though I have heard some unconfirmed whispers that he might be making that switch. The Milford baseball team would welcome him as here, and he sends one on the ground to second base. They'll throw to second to get the force play there on a good play turned in by Casey Boudreau. Dove to his left to just keep that ball on the infield, and then had the foresight to throw the ball down to second base to cut down the lead runner. So LeBlanc is out on the force. Almeida reaches on the fielder's choice. So 2 outs now. Good defense turned in by one of the longest tenured members of this Shrewsbury team. As a matter of fact, the last time these two teams met in the playoffs back in 2015, the only player that's in this starting lineup right now that was in the lineup then for Shrewsbury is Casey Boudreau. He ended up going 2 for 2 with a couple of runs scored in an epic one-game winner-take-all zone playoff game that these two teams played back in 2015. A game that went 9 innings. Milford was able to emerge with a 7-6 win. Here's a 1-1 pitch now into Sanchioni, a wave and a miss. That ball ended up well off the plate, but Sanchioni chased it. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Shaughnessy looking to deliver Shrewsbury their first scoreless inning. As this pitch misses low. LeBlanc reaching with 1 out on an error, and then Almeida taking his place at first after the fielder's choice. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. So a good bounce back inning for Shrewsbury pitching. 2 Ks for Pat Shaughnessy, and Milford held off the scoreboard. We'll head to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It is still Milford 6 and Shrewsbury nothing on this playoff coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Thanks to an agreement in place between Milford TV and Tom McAuliffe for MyFM. Milford TV bringing live streaming coverage of the game here this afternoon, and should Milford move on to the state championship game, they would be live streaming that game too. So we certainly want you to tune in here on MyFM 101.3, but also streaming coverage available on milfordtv.net and also via the live stream app. And again, Milford TV Executive Director Rob O'Keefe wanted me to make sure I extended that thank you to Tom McAuliffe and everyone over at MyFM for another great partnership effort. And certainly speaking for someone who works in both worlds, both at Milford TV and MyFM, great to have the partnerships so strong between those two media outlets here in Milford. Getting underway now in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. A pitch ripped down the right field line, but foul off the bat of Christian Jordan, taking his first at bat of the game against Michael Farrell, who so far has not allowed a run on 2 hits, and he has 3 strikeouts. 2 of them back-to-back to end last inning. And he's ahead of Jordan, 0-2. Here's the pitch, and it is just fouled away. Barely getting a piece of it was Jordan. Expected these games to be played yesterday, but rain in the forecast. There was really never any torrential downpours in Milford, but steady rainfall throughout a lot of the day. Another 0-2 pitch, that one missing high. And I'm sure these players and coaches, as well as the fans here in the stands, much prefer the weather conditions here today than what they would have experienced if the teams tried to play through yesterday. So the 5-day tournament playing out over the span of 7 days, as it turns out. Now a swing and a miss from Jordan, and he goes down. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts from Michael Farrell. Now 4 in the game. And 31 strikeouts in the playoffs now for Farrell. He ups his overall team leading total. now stands at 53. 53 strikeouts overall on the season for Farrell, through 180 into third, 183 into third innings pitched. The pitch sent in the air, now out to right field, a lazy fly ball for Kyle Nocera. Should amend that looking at the total batters column for Michael Farrell in the stats. Certainly not 180 innings pitched. That's a heavy workload for a Legion season. Let's try that again now at 41 and 2/3 innings now pitched on this season for Michael Farrell. Pitch missing high now to the batter, David Turco, with 2 outs in the inning. The base is empty after Adam Twitchell's fly ball out to right. Farrell now sends in a called strike, evening the count at 1-1. Turco grounded out to third base his first time up. A strikeout to Christian Jordan and a fly out for Adam Twitchell so far here in inning number 3. As the next pitch from Michael Farrell misses low. 37 pitches now through 2 2/3 innings for Farrell. And the pitch, that's a liner out to center field, down for a base hit. It denies Farrell the chance for a 1-2-3 inning. And so a runner aboard now for the number 3 hitter, Nick Martin. Already out to a lead at first is Turco. And Farrell's first pitch is a fastball that misses low. 1-0 the count. Martin reaching on an infield single in the bottom of the first inning, sent it slowly to shortstop. Sanchioni made a great play to his right. Sliding, getting to his feet quickly, throwing to first, but not in time to get Martin. And now 2 balls and no strikes the count. These Shrewsbury fans looking for a spark out of their team after allowing 6 quick runs to Milford in a blink of an eye. Milford in the lead in this game. As the 2-0 pitch drops in for a strike. Farrell shaking off the first 2 signs from Alex Reynolds before he has the one he likes, but meanwhile, we'll see timeout called at the plate by Martin. Turco keeping the inning alive with a line drive base hit. He leads off of first, held on by LeBlanc. Here's the pitch, and this one is hit to the opposite field through the right side for a base hit. Turco will move up to second base and hold there, as Martin is now 2 for 2 in the game. And Shrewsbury starting to make things happen with 2 outs. After Jordan and Twitchell were retired quickly, we see back-to-back base hits, and already now Coach DeVito out of the dugout for a mound visit. Farrell needed just 10 pitches to get through the first inning, 17 to get through the second. Now up at 41 pitches overall for his outing. Those pitch counts, as always, so important in this state tournament. Of course, here on the last day, these teams are going to empty the tank, doing whatever they need to do for these 2 teams here today to advance to the state title game. And of course, whichever team emerges, we'll see that team in Braintree utilizing whatever pitchers they need to get through the evening contest. We'll eventually crown the department championship later on tonight, and that team will move on to the state tournament. Shrewsbury, no matter what happens today, will move on to that Northeast Regional Tournament. After the mound visit now, the pitch to the plate from Farrell is low and outside. Reynolds had to lunge for it, and it's ball one to Jack Gardner. Gardner had a hit against Michael Farrell when these two teams met back on June 29th. Now takes a pitch high, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. So Farrell on the ropes a little bit here after an easy start to the inning. Allowing back-to-back hits, and now the command faltering a bit in this at-bat against Gardner. Now misses outside with a pitch, and Farrell goes to 3-0, and all of a sudden, one more pitch out of the strike zone will give Shrewsbury a bases-loaded opportunity. You cannot afford to give this team the feeling that they are back in this game. Here's the 3-0. And Farrell able to get it over for a called strike. No inclination to swing from Gardner. He did strike out looking to conclude the first inning. And the righty now digging back in. 3 balls into strike as the runners lead off of first and second. And the pitch popped up foul off to the right side, but well out of play. And a round of applause as we see a good catch made from a fan off on that right side. Fans positioned throughout this field, a big crowd with fans of both teams represented, and a big moment coming up here. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the batter, Jack Gardner. 2 on and 2 out in the third. And a late timeout granted by the home plate umpire. Farrell had gone into his windup, but the umpire granting Gardner time. Farrell ends up sending the pitch through to the plate. Still a 3-2 count now as Gardner is back in the box. Farrell ready. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a breaking ball that stays high for ball 4. The Shrewsbury fans now finally with something to cheer about. They'll have a bases-loaded opportunity presenting their team here for the number 5 hitter, Pat Galvin. Galvin grounded out to second base in his first at-bat. All of this developing for Shrewsbury with 2 outs. The hits from Turco and Martin, and now a walk to Gardner. And now the first pitch to Galvin misses low for strike 1. Farrell fighting with his command as this third inning goes on. Now up to 48 pitches. But this has been much more of a labor-intensive inning. Here's the pitch, and it's low for ball 2. And now Alex Reynolds will head out to the pitcher's mound. We've already seen a visit from Coach DeVito in this inning. 2 balls and no strikes on Galvin. Not a long conversation between pitcher and catcher as Reynolds is already back behind the plate. Galvin taking a deep breath outside the left side batter's box, a big spot in the game. A Shrewsbury runner at every base. A hit would put the defending state champs right back in the game as Farrell is able to hit the inside corner with that pitch to bring the count to 2-1. Farrell back to the set position. And now his 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed. And so now an even count. Can Farrell find the pitch to get out of the inning? Can Pat Galvin find a way to send one to the outfield to get Shrewsbury on the scoreboard? 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Turco at third, Martin at second, and Gardner at first. And Farrell again ready Here is the 2-2 pitch. It's lifted in the air out to left field towards the line. Now into foul territory. Zach Sasitsky is there to make the catch. And the inning comes to an end. Shrewsbury gives Milford a scare. They load the bases with 2 outs, but they failed to score. And now 5 runners left on the bases through the first 3 innings for Post 397. On to the top half of the 4th, where Milford leads Shrewsbury by a score of 6-0 here on My FM 101.3. 2 innings against Shrewsbury's starting pitcher, Kevin Hummer. 3 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, 3 runs on 4 hits in the second. A big 2-run triple as part of that second inning rally off the bat of Aiden Wild. And so a 6-0 lead for Milford. 6 runs on 7 hits with no errors for Milford, no runs, 3 hits, 2 errors for Shrewsbury. And a 2-0 count to Rebello, and you can now make it 3-0. Pat Shaughnessy on the mound, pitched a scoreless inning in the 3rd with 2 Ks, but deals a 4-pitch walk to Sean Rebello to open this 4th inning, and Rebello now has been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. 2 hits and now a walk. And not a player you want to walk to lead off an inning. Sean Rebello, the team leader in stolen bases. He has 18 steals on the year, and he's continued to steal bases at a good clip in these playoffs. 6 steals between the zone playoffs and state tournament combined. Meanwhile, Aiden Wild at the plate. He takes a called strike. Wild a single and a triple. 2 runs batted in and 2 runs scored. The check-in over at first base from Shaughnessy, but Rebello able to get back standing. Rebello does have to be cautious of the move from the left-hander Shaughnessy as he sends the pitch to the plate high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wild. Milford once again with their lead runner on, as now Wild takes a pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Wild. Overall on the season, bringing a .424 batting average to today's action. Hits one hard to second base. Waiting for it is Boudreau. He flips to second to get the out there. And the relay to first in time. Sure-handed for Casey Boudreau at second base, who's played solid defense there. And he starts the 4-6-3 double play. And suddenly Milford with the bases empty and now 2 outs. So Wild unable to come through this time. Takes Milford out of a potential rally, and now looking for something from Monahan to keep the inning going. A high fly ball sent out to center field, sends Twitchell racing back towards the goalposts, tries to make an over-the-shoulder catch, but it's beyond his reach, and it will go as a 2-base hit for Tyler Monahan. And Twitchell slamming his glove down on the grass out there in frustration, nearly tracked that ball down. Twitchell has excellent speed in center. But hit too hard for Monahan, who has another double. Shrewsbury certainly thankful now of the double play turned. Monahan now with 7 doubles in the playoffs. And overall on the season, 16 doubles for Tyler Monahan. The doubles machine now leads off of second base with a no-1 count on Reynolds. One ball and 1 strike now with 2 outs. Shaughnessy a look down to second base, now the pitch. That's foul out of play off to the right. Reynolds struck out looking in the first inning, then singled in the second. That hit was the final nail in the coffin for Kevin Hummer. That double allowed to Tyler Monahan is just the first hit allowed by Pat Shaughnessy since entering the game. He has 2 strikeouts and a walk to go along with that Monahan double. And now after a conversation with his battery mate, Nick Martin. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on the Milford catcher, Alex Reynolds. Here's the pitch, and it's waved at and missed. The ball held on to by the catcher, Martin, and that strikeout will end the inning. So now 3 Ks for Shaughnessy, 7 strikeouts in the game for Shrewsbury pitching. They've been getting the Ks, but Milford has the runs. They're up 6-0 on Shrewsbury on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. Now on to the bottom half of the 4th. A key double play turned in that top half of the 4th inning for Shrewsbury after Milford had their leadoff runner on, thanks to the walk from Sean Rebello, but a double play hit into by Aiden Wild. Tyler Monahan coming back with a double, but he was left at second base, so Milford has now stranded 4 runners in the game. But still leading by 6 as Shrewsbury sends batters 6, 7, and 8 to the plate against Michael Farrell. Casey Boudreau swings at the first pitch, hits it up the middle. A rangy attempt for Joe Sanchione as he came in front of the second base bag, but could not handle it. And Boudreau will reach at first base, and there is the first Milford error of the game. Boudreau first pitch swinging, sending that one right over the pitcher's mound. Farrell couldn't make a play on it. Looked initially like Sanchione was going to be able to range in and get to it in time, but it hit in and out of his glove. And Shrewsbury now with their leadoff runner aboard in the bottom of the 4th. Now first pitch swinging, this ball hit deep in the hole at shortstop. Again, it gets past Sanchione. A sliding attempt for Joe that time, right at the edge where the infield dirt meets the outfield grass. That will probably go as a hit for Dylan Zona. And once again, we're seeing some aggressive swinging out of Shrewsbury. Both batters swinging at the first pitch to start off this 4th inning. Boudreau reaching on the error, now Zona with the single, and it's 2 on with nobody out. Shrewsbury starting to settle in offensively over these last 2 innings. They're able to load the bases in the bottom of the 3rd, but failed to score. Now here's a ground ball hit right to 3rd. Monahan taps the third base bag, now throws to first, and they'll say safe at first base. It was a high throw from Monahan. It looked like LeBlanc was able to stay on the bag as he received the throw, but maybe the foot of Thomas Q getting to the bag just prior to the throw, entering LeBlanc's glove. But that was a hard smash by Thomas Q, sent right to Monahan. He was able to get the lead runner at third base, with Q reaching on the fielder's choice. But no double play turned. So now 2 on with 1 down for Christian Jordan. And Jordan takes a first pitch strike. That's the first batter so far in this inning that has not swung at the first pitch. Zona now the lead runner at second with Q at first. And the 0-1 pitch from Farrell. That's down and in. Sun right now behind a very light layer of clouds. And that sun was out. It was really heating up the field, over 80 degrees here at game time. And now Farrell spinning off the back of the pitcher's mound. He does not send a throw down to second base. Nobody covering. Trying to keep Zona close. Now a couple of shakeoffs for Farrell as he goes through the signs with Reynolds. He's now ready. Here's the pitch. And it misses inside. 2 balls and a strike. You think back to the first day of the tournament for Shrewsbury. They were able to battle back to cut the Braintree lead to 6-5 heading into the 9th inning. Shrewsbury was able to get their leadoff runner on. That runner getting down to second base with 2 outs. The runner, I believe, was David Turco. But eventually a base running mistake led to Braintree hanging on for the win. And that was the reason Shrewsbury ended up getting sent down to the losers bracket where they were able to battle their way all the way through to this final day, as was Milford, coming off of their loss on day 1 to Newton. It's now a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Christian Jordan after a foul ball. Here is the next pitch, and it misses outside. Farrell with pinpoint control through the first 2 innings. It's wavered a bit here in these last 2 frames. Another 3-2 count. The runner's a chance perhaps to get started. They hold as we see a bounding ball hit to first base, kicks off the glove of LeBlanc, and he has to hold on to it. No play as everyone is safe, and we'll see another bases loaded opportunity for post 397. 2 errors on the infield in this inning for post 59. Jordan safe at first base with Q advancing to second, Zona down to third. And a veteran bat at the plate now for Shrewsbury and Adam Twitchell. He's been held hitless so far in 2 at-bats. Shrewsbury's been knocking on the door in these last 2 innings. Here's the pitch, and it's in for a first pitch strike. Farrell now up to 63 pitches. The third base dugout is alive with energy now for Shrewsbury. Here's the 0-1, and it's a line drive out to shortstop, gobbled up by Sanchioni, gets the out at second, and his throw to first is in time, and Sanchioni able to turn a 6-3 inning-ending double play. That was hit hard by Twitchell. At first glance, it looked like it was going to head out to center field, but Sanchioni able to get to it, and it led him right to the second base bag where he begun the 6-3 twin killing. And a key defensive play turned in, so a couple of errors, but in the end, the Milford defense does the job, and once again, we see a squander offensively for Shrewsbury post 397. That concludes 4 innings of play now from Fino Field in the game that will decide who will represent Zone 4 in the state championship game. Right now, it's Milford with a 6-0 lead over Shrewsbury here on My FM 101.3. Quickly, the top half of the 5th inning gets underway as Shaughnessy's first pitch into Kyle Nocera is floated out to center field. Twitchell ranges in a few paces to make the catch. And with just 1 pitch, Shaughnessy has the first out of the 5th inning. Some lengthy innings in the top half of the first and the top half of the second as Milford established this 6-run lead, but since then, a lot of quick innings out of this Milford offense, as now Zach Sasitsky slices one down the right field line. That will land in fair territory. Sasitsky takes a wide turn around first base, but he will have to hold. Galvin able to cut it off and send the throw back on the infield. A long single for Sasitsky, who is now 2 for 3. And that puts a runner aboard ahead of Jake LeBlanc. Committed one of the 2 Milford errors in the bottom half of the 4th, but Sanchioni able to take care of business in the end. Bouncing back off of an error himself to start off the 6-3 inning-ending double play as now LeBlanc sends one out to center field. That one hit pretty well, but Adam Twitchell, the center fielder, able to make the catch over his shoulder. Not quite hit hard enough to get over the center fielder's head. And LeBlanc now 0 for 3. He heads back to the dugout. Tyler Almeida to the plate now. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. So Shaughnessy's been trying to get his offense back up to the plate as quickly as possible over these last few innings. Has 2 outs here and now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. As the pitch to Almeida missed down in the dirt, a strikeout for Tyler in his first at-bat, then reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. And now hits one softly on the ground to first base, gets away from Zona, but backed up nicely by Casey Boudreau, who has really excelled defensively in this game. He sends it back to first base for the out that will end the inning. And again, Shaughnessy is able to strand a base runner And it's up now to 5 runners left on base through the game for post 59, and right back to the bottom half of the inning we go. Through 4.5 innings of play, it is Milford 6 and Shrewsbury 0 on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the 2017 Legion State Tournament right here on MyFM 101.3. Loading the bases with 2 outs in the third with just 1 out last inning. But Milford able to turn a crucial double play to get out of the fourth. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count on the number 2 hitter, David Turco, who was 1 for 2 so far on the afternoon. Here's the next pitch, and that comes inside. Turco just able to get out of the way. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count. That pitch count now up to 67 in the game for Farrell. And now a swing and a miss. And the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that ball might have gotten Alex Reynolds, the catcher, maybe up around the throat, as he is in some pain behind the plate. Coach DeVito racing out. Now the trainer coach, he will stay in the game. And a round of applause from the fans. Happy to see that Reynolds will be able to continue not only an important presence behind the plate. He's done such a good job receiving these pitchers this year. He's played excellent defense behind the plate, but also a key bat in the middle of this lineup. Again, look at his offensive numbers through these playoffs. He is 10 for 23. He's driven in 7 runs through the playoffs. Consistent all season long. The batting average overall on the season for Reynolds at .376, but after he receives a couple of warm-up tosses from Farrell, he is set to continue. And now the pitch misses high, and the count will run full to Turco. Farrell shakes off the first sign. Now he's ready. The 3-2 pitch. It's hit on the ground to the left side. Dives for both Monahan and Sanchioni. Neither could get to it. We've seen that a lot over these last few innings. Well-placed hits on the infield, just sneaking their way through. And Turco able to reach with a leadoff base hit. That's now the 6th hit for Shrewsbury. The leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning. And Nick Martin now at the plate, who has gone 2 for 2, an infield single and a single to the outfield. And he'll start off ahead 1-0. The bullpen quiet right now for post 59, but you have to think if Farrell gets into any trouble here in the 5th inning, we might see some activity start to loosen. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That misses high. 2 balls and no strikes now on Martin. With Jack Gardner waiting on deck, getting into the middle of this Shrewsbury order. They have been on the verge of scoring in the last few innings, have not been able to cash in. You can only hold this team down for so long. If you give them enough chances, they are going to make you pay. Farrell able to battle back with a strike to bring the count to 2-1. Righty on the mound, Michael Farrell, the righty at the plate. And Nick Martin, and now a check over at first base. That sends Turco sliding back into the bag. Hits in every inning so far for post 397. Here's the 2-1, hit hard to third base. It gets past Monahan, sneaks under his glove. He had it momentarily, but couldn't squeeze it. And that, in all likelihood, will go down as the 3rd Milford error. Milford played arguably their strongest defensive game here on Wednesday against Braintree. They did have a couple of defensive lapses in one inning where Braintree threatened early in the game, but Milford able to get out of it, and then they turned in some real gems of defensive plays as that game went on. The throw from Sean Rebello in the outfield to gun down a run at the plate. A Key double play turned in that game from Joe Sanchioni as well. But the defense a little bit shaky over these last 2 innings, leading to another 2-on, no-out opportunity for Shrewsbury, with now Jack Gardner at the plate, taking a first pitch strike. Here's the 0-1 now, and this is hit softly over towards third base, but it kicks foul. And unfortunately, the theme in these playoffs has been the defense has been at its shakiest when Michael Farrell has been on the pitcher's mound. We talked about that run total for Farrell. He's allowed 11 runs through his 2 playoff starts, but only 3 of them have been earned. Hoping his defense can stand up here with a 2-on, no-out situation. A line drive out to center field here. That is down for a base hit. They'll wave the runner around from second base. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be not in time. Now the throw down to third is late. And Sean Rebello came up throwing, sent it all the way on to home. Might have been better off sending it to the cutoff man as the run scores Turco around from second base. And with that throw to the plate, Nick Martin was able to go first to third. And Jack Gardner finally getting Shrewsbury on the scoreboard. An RBI single brings the score to 6-1. So that brings the Shrewsbury fans in the house to life. And there is still no outs in this inning. Pat Galvin now at the plate, who is 0 for 2. He swings at the first pitch and loops it foul off to the left. Monahan will give it a look, but it's well out of play. And we will start to see some activity head down to the bullpen now. I believe it is Nate Irwin heading out there. A no ball, 1 strike count on Galvin. Here's the pitch, hit in the air, out to left center field. Sisitsky underneath, he makes the catch, tagging at third base. And coming to the plate is Nick Martin, he will score. It's a sacrifice fly for Galvin. Sisitsky sending the throw into Monahan at third base. As Martin crosses the plate, so now 2 runs back for Shrewsbury. As Milford finally gets an out in the inning. A 6-2 score now, a runner at first base for Shrewsbury. That's Jack Gardner, he's the lone runner. Now for Casey Boudreau. And the first pitch of the at-bat misses low with the fastball. One ball and no strikes on the righty batter. Boudreau doubled in the second inning, reached on an error in the fourth. And the pitch hits the outside part of the plate this time to even the count at 1-1. So Milford up big early. They have not been able to expand the lead further, and now from a 6-run lead, it's cut down to 4. Now a 2-ball, 1-strike count as Irwin continues to toss in the bullpen. Farrell at 82 pitches. That's just 1 out in this 5th inning. And now a swing and a miss. Late movement on the pitch from Farrell to the outside part of the plate. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Farrell craning his neck around to keep an eye on that runner at first base. He's now ready with the 2-2 pitch and sent foul, and Boudreau sending that one off of his foot. Hopping around a bit after the swing. It stays a 2-2 count. Right now, Braintree just sitting in wait for whichever team emerges from this afternoon contest. A lead for Gardner at first. Here's another 2-2, and it's hit in the air out to center field, but ranging in is Sean Rebello. He is there to make the catch. And it's 2 down now in the inning for Shrewsbury. Gardner has to retreat to the first base bag. And that now leaves the inning up to Dylan Zona. He did single in his last at bat. Part of that bases loaded, 1-out opportunity Shrewsbury had last inning. Now comes to the plate with a runner at first base. 2 runs in so far in the bottom of the 5th for post 397. And now the pitch misses up and away. Farrell's started off behind a lot of these batters over the last 3 innings. He's only walked 1. That walk came in the 3rd inning. As now the pitch is popped up high in the air behind home plate, but it drifts over the backstop and out of play. One and one the count on the right-handed swinging Dylan Zona. Farrell hesitates, now comes to the plate and deals in a called strike 2 right at the bottom of the zone. Groans coming up from the Shrewsbury fans. They did not like the call, but the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Farrell trying to end it. He is ready. The windup and the pitch, and it's hit hard to third base. A diving play from Monahan. He has it. The throw to first base gets there in time. A good play from Tyler Monahan. Diving to his left, kept it securely in the glove and threw accurately to first to get the out that retires the side. But Shrewsbury is on the board. RBIs from Gardner and Galvin in the inning. And it is now a 6-2 score with Milford in front. The top of the 6th inning will begin when we return next here on My FM 101.3. Top of the order coming up for post 59. A first pitch swing from Joe Sanchioni. He sends it foul. Just wide of third base. In and out of the hands of Coach DeVito in the third base coach's box. Sanchioni, Rebello, and Wild due up against Shaughnessy as now Sanchioni sends a fly ball out to right field. Plenty of room for Pat Galvin to make the catch. Sanchioni now 1 for 4. And we've mentioned it, Milford's offense has been very quiet since those first 2 innings. They only have 2 hits off of Pat Shaughnessy since he came into the game. A big double play took Milford out of a possible rally in the 4th. They had a 1-out single last inning, but couldn't do anything with it. And now 1 out and the base is empty in the top half of the 6th for Sean Rebello. He has been very good all day. He is 2 for 2, a pair of singles. He's also walked, and he has scored 2 of Milford's 6 runs. And now a called strike brings the count to 2-1. It looks like now Kyle Nocera is up and throwing in the bullpen. As Rebello sends this one on the ground to shortstop. Turco has it, the throw to first, and Zona just able to keep the foot on the bag. The throw tailed a bit from Turco, but goes as a successful 6-3 ground out. And Milford on the verge of going quickly and quietly at the plate once again, needing something from Aiden Wild. He's given them plenty so far, 2 hits and 2 runs batted in. He did bounce into a double play his last time up. Taking the first pitch up and in for ball 1. Now the next pitch on the way, and it's swung on and missed. Milford DH trying to keep this inning alive. Farrell has not had a lot of time to rest in between these last few innings. Here's the 1-1, and it's hit hard back up the middle. A high bounce right into the glove of Turco. He'll throw to first to get the out. That took a hop that ended up being very beneficial for the Shrewsbury shortstop as he ranged towards the second base bag. He was able to stick with it and throw to first base, and there is a 1-2-3 inning. It's our first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game, and it will send Shrewsbury right back to the plate for the bottom half of the sixth inning. It is a 6-2 score, Milford in front on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. 6 runs on 9 hits with 3 errors for Milford. 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Shrewsbury. Over these middle innings, you've started to feel the momentum shift a bit into Shrewsbury's favor. Milford really socking Shrewsbury in the mouth here to open the game with 3 runs in the first and 3 more in the second. But Shrewsbury has been able to settle down, getting 4 1/3 innings of shutout relief out of the bullpen from Shaughnessy. Shrewsbury able to get on the board with 2 runs last inning, and now their number 8 hitter Thomas Q leading off the 6th. Drives a pitch foul out of play off to the right, and he is down 0-2. Q followed by Christian Jordan and Adam Twitchell in the inning, batters 8, 9, and 1. Farrell ready with his 0-2, and it's hit to shortstop, waiting for it as Sanchione plays it on the backhand, throws to first, and gets the out. This is one of those points in the game where this team needs to make those routine plays. They have a 4-run lead, but really does not feel comfortable. Shrewsbury's been right on the cusp of climbing back into this game, and again, a 4-run lead is not insurmountable for this hot-hitting post-397 offense. 1 out in the 6th now for Christian Jordan, who takes the first pitch for strike 1. Jordan has struck out swinging and reached on an error by Jake LeBlanc at first. Wind up and the pitch. And it's hit softly over towards second. Almeida waits for it, has to hustle the throw to first base, but gets it there. And 2 ground ball outs on the infield. 2 up and 2 down in the bottom half of the 6th. 94 pitches now in this baseball game for Michael Farrell. Hoping to at least get through 6. If he can get out of this inning quickly, we'll see if Coach DeVito will send him out for 1 more. Adam Twitchell now at the dish, sends one hard to third base. Monahan playing it off the chest, now throws to first base, but not in time. That was a rocket over to third. Monahan went down to his knees. Was able to keep the ball in front of him. Got the throw to first as quickly as he could, but Twitchell able to beat it out. And I would think that would go as an infield single. Monahan doing everything possible. So there is the 8th hit of the game for post 397. No 1-2-3 inning here for Farrell. He now has to deal with David Turco, who has hits in his last 2 at-bats. Came around to score the first Shrewsbury run last inning. Takes a big cut at the first pitch, but comes up empty. Nothing in 1 on the right-handed swinging Turco. Twitchell will lead off of first. He goes. The pitch misses high. Here's the throw down to second base, and it is there in time. A perfect throw from Alex Reynolds. And the tag applied. Twitchell out trying to steal second base, and that will bring an end to the bottom half of the 6th inning. An 8-pitch inning, just what the doctor ordered for Michael Farrell. And we are on to the 7th. On this day 5 of state tournament action, Milford with a 6-2 lead on Shrewsbury, as you enjoy coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on My FM 101.3. Tyler Monahan takes a ball high out of the hand of Pat Shaughnessy. That was his 50th pitch since coming into the game. Shaughnessy has been a stud out of the bullpen for post 397. He's allowed just 2 hits, no runs allowed. As Monahan now sends one high in the air out to left field, it sends Jordan back. But that hangs up and allows the Shrewsbury left fielder to drift back pretty far in left field to make the catch. Monahan sending another one deep to the outfield. He doubled in his last at bat, but here flies out to Jordan. Just 2 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for Shaughnessy, who now has the first out in the top of the 7th. Alex Reynolds now taking a pitch outside for ball 1. Reynolds 1 for 3. He singled in the second inning, but has also struck out twice, and now hits one hard but foul, lining it over towards some unsuspecting fans in lawn chairs seated next to the left field bleachers. Everyone seems to be okay as now the fans lob the ball back over towards the Shrewsbury dugout. And a 1-1 pitch now into Reynolds, hits for strike 2. This is not the first time Milford has seen Shaughnessy, as he misses now with ball 2. Now this ball is hit hard to third base, but right into the glove of Thomas Q. He looked like he was as surprised as anyone to find that one in his glove, hit hard on a bounce over towards third base, but Reynolds ends up out on the 5-3 grounder. And with 2 outs, Milford trying to get something out of Kyle Nocera. Nocera today reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, grounded out to second base in the second, and flew out to center field in the 5th. 0 for 3. But jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes as Shaughnessy is ready with another. It's hit again out to left field. That sends Jordan back. Again hit deep, but again the Shrewsbury left fielder able to make the play. And all of a sudden now Shaughnessy has become next to unhittable. He has retired the last 8 consecutive Milford batters. And so we will now head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. We're getting into the later stages of this playoff game. Milford with a 6-2 lead as they'll head back out onto the field. And we'll head back after this on My FM 101.3. The Post 59 offense was ready to go right out of the gate in this game. 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second. But since that second inning, the offense has been completely absent for Post 59. 7 hits in the first 2 innings, just 2 hits in the last 5 innings. So it is now a 6-2 score as Shrewsbury comes to the plate in their half of the 7th. Michael Farrell is back out there on the pitcher's mound. He starts this inning at 97 pitches. And deals a called strike 1 into David Turco, who was at the plate when Adam Twitchell was gunned down at second base on the throw by Alex Reynolds to conclude last inning. And now taps one weakly towards the third base dugout. Sent back out onto the field to play. It's a no-ball, 2-strike count. Braintree has now arrived here at the field. Spectators out in deep right field, watching the remainder of this game before they will participate in the state championship game against the winner of this one ongoing right now between Post 59 and Shrewsbury Post 397, excuse me. Turco sending one foul to stay alive. Farrell ready with another pitch, and that is on the outside corner for a called strike 3. That's the 5th strikeout now for Farrell, but his first K since the 3rd inning. He had a strikeout in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third, but since then, he hasn't been getting a lot of swings and misses, a lot of contact off these Shrewsbury bats. But able to get the strikeout to open the 7th, and now sends a pitch in the dirt for ball 1 against Nick Martin. Martin has been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. 2 singles, and he's also reached on an error. Here's the 1-0, and that's in for a strike. The Bullpen quiet right now for Milford, but we've seen Nate Irwin and Kyle Nocera both loosen. As Farrell now falls behind 2-1. With the pitch count, with the pitch count over 100, you would think that regardless of the outcome of this inning, it would be Farrell's last. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's hit on the ground to shortstop. Sanchioni has it. The throw to first base in time. And it's 2 up and 2 down in the 7th. Turco and Martin retired, and now the inning left up to Jack Gardner.
The designated hitter, number 23, Jack Gardner.
Gardner so far today, a strikeout, a walk, and an RBI single drove in the first Shrewsbury run back in the 5th. Here's the pitch from Michael Farrell, in for a first pitch strike. Once again, the Shrewsbury fans, as well as the Shrewsbury bench, disagreeing with the strike call. Farrell ready with another. That drops low and inside. And now timeout is called as the infield umpire issues a stern warning over on the Shrewsbury side, and I believe the message was the next word's out of there and someone is getting ejected. Now a 1-1 pitch, hit hard but foul off to the right side, and that one sent all the way beyond the members of Braintree Post 86, who are positioned just in front of the Milford bullpen. That's a long way down the right side, but hit foul by Gardner, and he's down in the count 1-2. Back into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch. A bouncer towards second base. A good hop for Almeida. He plays it, throws high to first base, but it's pulled down by Jake LeBlanc, and there is a 1-2-3 inning for Farrell. He has pitched well in the later stages of this game. Finishes the 7th inning at 109 pitches, his first 1-2-3 frame, and that sends us to the 8th. It is still Milford 6 and Shrewsbury 2 on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the Massachusetts Legion State Tournament right here on My FM 101.3. Pat Shaughnessy all geared up and ready for the first pitch of this inning, but Zach Sasitsky not quite ready in the left side box, so the home plate umpire forcing the pitcher to pause, but now deals in a called strike. Pat Shaughnessy on the mound, Zach Sasitsky at the plate. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Sasitsky, LeBlanc, and Almeida. The bottom third of the Milford order due up. The offense trying to wake back up to provide some insurance for this Milford pitching staff. Right now it's Michael Farrell, who has gotten through 7 innings. He has scattered 8 hits, allowed 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Turning in another solid performance. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Pat Shaughnessy also turning in a solid performance in relief. Way back when Kevin Hummer starting this game, the hard-throwing righty, lasted just an inning and a third, allowed all 6 runs that Milford has scored. And Shaughnessy now 5 2/3 innings deep in his outing of scoreless relief, as now first pitch swinging LeBlanc sends one on the ground to shortstop. Turco to Zona, and it's 2 up and 2 down in the 8th. And Shaughnessy in the zone. He's now retired 10 consecutive Milford batters. The last hitter to reach for Milford was Zach Sasitsky on a 1-out single in the 5th. And now a first pitch strike drilled into Tyler Almeida. Back-to-back strikes. And these Shrewsbury fans eager to see this top of the 8th come to an end. Here is the 0-2 offering, and it's fought off foul. Almeida back in on the left side. Lefty versus lefty matchup. The next pitch is taken high. And you wonder if these short waits in between innings have actually done Michael Farrell a favor, because he has been doing some of his best pitching over these last 2 innings. Here's a 1-2, and it's hit softly over to second base. It'll be another short wait for Michael Farrell here as we see the 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Pat Shaughnessy. Quickly gets Shrewsbury through this top of the 8th. And we will head on now to the bottom half of this 8th inning. There will be a new arm for Post 59. We'll let you know who it is when we come back after this on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. Still a 6-2 score in favor of Milford Post 59, but their offense has been completely silent over these last 3 innings. And after 7 strong innings on the mound for Michael Farrell, he will give way to the bullpen in the 8th. And we will see a relief appearance now out of the left-hander, Kyle Nocera. Nocera now making his 7th appearance on the pitcher's mound this season. All but 1 have been in relief. He carries an even 3.00 ERA, a 1-0 record. He also has a save. In 9 1/3 innings, he's allowed 10 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. He's walked 6, struck out 14, and opposing batters are hitting .250 off of Nocera. And meanwhile, Shrewsbury will send up their 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Pat Galvin, Casey Boudreau, and Dylan Zona. And a tip of the cap for Michael Farrell, giving Post 59 another quality start. After Milford saw 6 1/3 shutout innings from their starter Zach Sasitsky here on Wednesday, getting 7 innings with just 2 runs, 1 earned allowed out of Farrell. A 1 ball, 1 strike count. And now a fastball that just misses away. And Galvin now ahead 2-1. Drove in Shrewsbury's 2nd run of the game on a sac fly back in the 5th. And now a swing and a miss evens the count at 2. That was Shrewsbury's best offensive inning so far. Saw their first 2 batters reach, drove them both in. But Michael Farrell able to settle down after that, pitching 2 scoreless innings to close out his performance, allowed just an infield hit over those last 2 innings. And now a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Pat Galvin. Wind up and the payoff pitch, and it's lifted in the air out to shallow right center field. Out goes the second baseman. Almeida can't make the catch, and it drops down for a base hit. It was softly hit, but well placed. The only player close to it with a chance to make the play was Almeida. Raced out as quickly as he could onto the shallow right center field grass, but could not make the catch. And so there is now the 9th hit for Post 397. The hit column is now even. And now Nocera able to send a breaking ball in at the knees for a called strike to Casey Boudreau. And you know, the emotions are racing inside for Nocera. Every time he gets on the pitcher's mound, he has not been out there nearly as much as he would have liked this season. As the ball is fouled away. Boudreau falling behind 0-2. Nocera, as we have chronicled throughout these playoffs, has been the emotional leader in the dugout, really throughout this entire season, but in particular, his leadership skills have shined in the playoffs. Now trying to lead by example on the pitcher's mound as his 0-2 pitch is wasted up and away. Galvin leading off the inning with a bloop base hit. He now leads at first base. Nocera ready. Here's a 1-2, and it's in on the hands, hit foul. Boudreau able to fight it off. Casey Boudreau with a heads-up double in the second inning was able to advance to second base as the Milford outfield was a bit slow to get the ball back in. Good speed for Boudreau. Also reached on an error in the fourth. Here's a 1-2 pitch, a breaking ball that misses high. Two balls and two strikes, now the count. As Sarah comes back to the set. Here's his pitch, and it's a liner out to left field, but it will hang up long enough for Sasitsky to come on to make the play. Boudreau retired, 1 on and 1 out now in the 8th. Now for Dylan Zona. He is 1 for 3. His one hit came in the 4th. Shrewsbury had runners on in each of the first 6 innings. Going more quiet over the course of that 6th and 7th as Farrell did a nice job finishing out his day. First pitch missing for ball 1 to Zona. Now Nocera ready with another. That misses up top. A lot of people starting to turn their attention towards football with a lot of the NFL training camps opening up this week. But here in Milford, baseball remains the center of the universe on this day 5 of this Massachusetts State Tournament. Here's a 2-0 pitch, and it's in for a strike. Again, Galvin pops out to a lead at first base, not particularly large, as the pitch is popped up again out into shallow right center. Can someone get to it this time? It is the right fielder who is able to make the play. That right fielder now is Michael Farrell, as we saw a straight swap of Nocera for Farrell. So Michael remaining in the game, now in right. And I should also point out that Aiden Wild is now your first baseman. So Jake LeBlanc is out of the mix. No more designated hitter role. As we are now 2 outs deep in the the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Dylan Zona takes a look at a called strike. Thomas Q taking a look at a called strike after the out by Zona. Galvin leading off this inning with a single, but since then flyouts to left and right off of the bats of Boudreau and Zona. And now a 0-2 count on the third baseman, Thomas Q. Nocera looking for a scoreless inning out of the pen. Here's his 0-2 pitch, and it's lifted in the air out to center field. Over a few steps goes Sean Rebello. He settles it into the glove, and all 3 outfielders able to make plays in this inning. It gets us through a scoreless 8th. Milford now just 3 defensive outs away from a trip to the state title game. But first they will come to the plate desperately in search of some insurance. Quiet offense through much of this game, but they lead at 6-2 heading to the top of the 9th when we return on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. Played for Post 59 against the very tough lefty Pat Shaughnessy, and first pitch swinging. Joe Sanchione sends it hard out to left field, but right in the direction of Christian Jordan, who makes the catch. And with one pitch, Sanchione is retired. And Coach Vaccaro has gotten absolutely everything he could have hoped out of Pat Shaughnessy. This game easily could have gotten away from Shrewsbury with how it started. Milford 6 runs on 7 hits through those first 2 innings, but Shaughnessy has been outstanding. And now a ground ball sent towards the left side, gets past the dive of the third baseman Q under the glove of David Turco, and there is a hit finally for Post 59. It's the 3rd hit of the day for Sean Rebello. And just the third hit allowed by Pat Shaughnessy since coming into the game. That breaks up a string of 13 in a row retired. 12 in a row retired, I should say, by Shaughnessy. It's the first base runner Milford has had since the 5th inning. And now Aiden Wild quickly swings at the first pitch and lines it over the head of Casey Boudreau. Rebello hits second base, moves right on to third. The throw comes into third base, and as a result, Aiden Wild keeps on going down to second. And Milford now with something cooking in the top of the 9th, 2 on in scoring position with nobody out.
Now batting the third baseman, number 4.
It'll go as a single for Wild. He takes second base on the throw. And now a slow walk out from the third base dugout for head coach Frank Vaccaro. And he will take the baseball from Pat Shaughnessy, but before he does, puts an arm on the shoulder, showing his appreciation. And now these Shrewsbury fans, and also a lot of the Milford fans too, showing respect to Pat Shaughnessy. He deserves it. A tremendous outing in relief for Pat Shaughnessy. He right now gets hugs all around from his post 397 teammates outside of the third base dugout. Shaughnessy going 5 2/3 innings, allowing just 4 hits, no runs. He is responsible for the 2 runners in scoring position now. As we will see the pitching change, we'll let you know who comes on next out of the Shrewsbury bullpen when we return after this. A 6-2 lead for Milford, but threatening in the 9th. We'll have more for you when we return next on My FM 101.3. The new pitcher on for Shrewsbury will be Adam Twitchell, as we'll see a couple of different changes here for post 397. Adam Twitchell coming in from center field to take over on the mound. Pat Shaughnessy out of the game. We have not yet seen a Shrewsbury player head out to the outfield to replace Twitchell. It looks like Pat Galvin might be the one taking over in center field. But we can also tell you that Nick Martin has been replaced behind the plate by Jack Gardner. So Gardner putting the catcher's gear on to take over behind the plate. And so waiting to see how the defensive alignment turns out in the outfield for Shrewsbury. Looks like Galvin will go to left field. Not sure if they might have shifted Martin to the outfield to keep his bat in the lineup, but the DH coming on to take over behind the plate. So now both teams lose their DH for these late innings. And we'll try to get the rest of that outfield alignment for you as the inning goes on. The only one we can tell you for sure right now as we take a look at the uniform numbers is Galvin is the left fielder now. But Twitchell on the mound. This is the second time Milford will see Adam Twitchell in relief this year, as Milford was in the midst of that furious 7th inning comeback back on June 29th, scoring 4 runs against Kevin Hummer. It was Twitchell who came on with 2 outs in the inning. Milford had the tying run on base, but Twitchell was able to get a strikeout to bring an end to the game. Now facing Alex Reynolds with 2 in scoring position and nobody out, deals in a first pitch strike. So they did issue the intentional walk to Tyler Monahan to force the bases loaded. So Milford with a bases loaded chance with Monahan at first, Wild at second, and Rebello at third. And now a 3-pitch strikeout into Alex Reynolds. Reynolds did not like the call, but he goes down quickly, and that brings the second out of the inning. Sanchioni flew out to open the inning before Milford supplied back-to-back hits to put runners at second and third, then the intentional walk for Monahan. And now Nocera at the plate with a no-ball, 1-strike count. Here's the pitch, and it's hit high in the air, foul. That will go behind the backstop. And with no thud, I can tell you it cleared the press box roof as well. And it's a no-ball, 2-strike count, and Twitchell trying to bring a fast end to this Milford rally. Here's the pitch. It's hit hard on the ground. It gets underneath the dive of the first baseman out into right field. Rebello scores. Here comes Wild around from second base. The throw to the plate is high. 2-run score for Milford, as now Kyle Nocera will head down to second base. He drives in 2 big runs for Post 59 as they open up an 8-2 lead now on Shrewsbury. Monahan stopped at third. Nocera able to advance to second as the throw was very high onto the plate.
Now batting the left fielder, number 22, Zach.
So Milford almost squandering this bases loaded opportunity, but Nocera able to come through. He'll be credited with 2 RBI as now Zach Sasitsky grounds one to second base. First pitch swinging, Boudreau to Zona. And Shrewsbury's able to get the out to end the inning, but Milford is able to reestablish a 6-run lead. It is an 8-2 score as we will head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Milford with 3 outs left to get to secure a date with Braintree for the state championship game. We'll see if Post 59 can slam the door when we come back next on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on MyFM 101.3. Once again, we return to Fino Field. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning now. Kyle Nocera back on the pitcher's mound looking to finish things off. Shrewsbury will send their 9, 1, and 2 hitters to the plate. We do see a pinch hitter up first for Post 397, taking a called strike 1 from Nocera. And now a quick 0-2 count as Thomas Machella will bat for Christian Jordan. And Nocera back in his windup. The lefty's pitch misses up and away. Jordan had been 0 for 3 out of this number 9 spot with a strikeout. And now a 1-2 pitch. That's in for a called strike 3. That looked like the cutter out of Nocera. He catches Machella looking. That's the first strikeout for Nocera since coming into the game. He allowed a leadoff base hit last inning, but then was able to get 3 quick flyouts to end the frame. And now a strikeout to Machella to open up the bottom of the 9th. And now Adam Twitchell, the Shrewsbury leadoff hitter, up with 1 out and the base is empty. It's been a pretty quiet day at the plate, just 1 infield single. And now sends a fly ball out to center field. On comes the center fielder, Sean Rebello. He cuts in front of Michael Farrell to make the play. And it's 2 up and 2 down in the 9th inning. Milford 1 out away from advancing to the state championship game. And the last hope for Shrewsbury rests on the bat of David Turco. Of course, all is not lost here for Shrewsbury, knowing that they will move on to the Northeast Regionals as the host team. So similar to Milford, after Post 59 came up a little short in the zone playoffs, they were able to receive the automatic bid here as the host team in the state tournament. Shrewsbury would have the same. As now Turco sends a fly ball deep out to left field. Racing back is Sasitsky. It's over his head and will roll towards the fence. Extra bases for Turco. He hits second. Now heading on to third. The throw back on the infield is not in time, and it is a 2-out triple for David Turco. The second hit allowed by Kyle Nocera since coming into the game.
Right fielder.
Now an even 10 hits for Post 397. They went down in order just 1 time in this entire game. It gives the number 3 hitter a chance, Nick Martin, so that answers the question. Martin had moved out into right field after the pitching change last inning. And a couple of close pitches not going Nocera's way. He falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 quick outs for Nocera, but now a runner at third, falling behind the batter Martin. Able to get that pitch over for a strike. Martin has reached base 3 times in his 4 trips to the plate. Here is the 2-1, and that's in the dirt. Kicks away from Reynolds. Here comes the runner to the plate, and Turco will score. A wild pitch charged to Kyle Nocera, and he will also be charged with a run. And so the lead down to 5 runs for post 59, making Nocera's 2-run single in the top half of this inning all the more important. Now with the bases empty, a called strike on the outside part of the plate into Martin. And that is now a full count on the batter. Can Nocera end the game with a strikeout? Here is his 3-2 pitch, and it's hit hard back up the middle, and that will sneak through for a base hit. So back-to-back hits in this 9th inning now for Shrewsbury. Out hitting Milford now in the game, 11-10.
Now batting the catcher, number 23, Jack Gardner.
And check that, Milford with 12 hits in total in the game after coming through with hits last inning. 3 hits in total in that 9th inning, so updating my scorecard, 13 total hits with 8 runs on the scoreboard for post 59. So the hits 13-11 still in the favor of Milford post 59. A foul ball on the first pitch to Jack Gardner. The runner was off on the pitch, but has to retreat after the foul ball. And again, he will take off as we see a hard line drive through the left side of the infield for a base hit. Right on to third base now goes Martin, and he will get there on the single by Gardner. Shrewsbury absolutely refusing to relent in this inning, and now Coach DeVito pops out of the dugout. 35 pitches for Kyle Nocera. Got the first 2 outs quickly in this inning, and Coach DeVito, you have to imagine, is thinking in terms of keeping Nocera's availability perhaps for the next game, but at 35 pitches, he's close to that threshold of needing rest, although with back-to-back games, I would imagine Nocera may not be able to come back regardless. I'm not sure exactly how that works. If I understand the rule correctly, you have to stay under 45 pitches to not require a day of rest. Nocera now comes back with a first pitch strike to Pat Galvin. It's an 8-3 score. Shrewsbury down to their last out, but they've made some noise. 3 straight hits and a run. They have runners at the corners. As Nocera comes back with a breaking ball for a called strike 2, and once again, Milford stands poised, 1 strike away from advancing to the championship game. The lefty Galvin digs back in. The runner takes off from first. The 0-2 pitch misses outside. Almost looked like a pitch out the way that Reynolds popped out from behind the plate. But he ended up dropping the ball down to his feet. As Gardner advanced to second base, so now 2 in scoring position for Shrewsbury, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on the batter. As Kyle sets and now steps off, and Reynolds will head out to the pitcher's mound. It has not been a comfortable inning. After those first 2 outs were recorded, David Turco driving a ball deep and far out to left field that got over Sisitsky's head for a triple. He came home to score on a wild pitch. And since then, a single for Nick Martin, who now stands at third, and a single for Jack Gardner, who is now at second base. Again, Nocera readies. His 1-2 pitch is hit in the air, out to center field. Calling for it is Rebello. He settles underneath. He makes the catch. And despite a bit of a rally here in the bottom of the 9th inning for Shrewsbury, Milford is able to finish the job. They walk away with an 8-3 victory. And Milford upsets the defending Massachusetts state champs. Shrewsbury eliminated just prior to that state championship game. Milford with an 8-3 victory. as these two Zone 4 rivals will now meet at home plate, and handshakes all around. And again, you know that behind these handshakes is a lot of respect on both of these teams. These Zone 4 teams battle hard against one another during the season, but they also root each other on when they're not facing off on the field. And so, you know, despite a difficult loss here, Shrewsbury will be rooting on Milford in the game later on today. And as we mentioned, it's not the end for Shrewsbury. They will enjoy now their automatic bid into the Northeast Regionals as the host team. They'll be hosting next week up at the University of the Holy Cross, but they will not repeat as state champions here in the state of Massachusetts. Instead, it will be Milford who will play on later on this evening, just about a half hour or so from now, to take on Braintree Post 86. But before we get